Walt Disney,
Yes.
beloved figure of our pop culture.
That's how they get you. Yada, yada, yada. She eventually causes her own husband to be burned to death.
And that makes me so happy on cold nights. It especially ended badly for the idiot Peckerwoods.
Have a bottle of scotch. Okay, that's twice that he's mentioned redheads. It is un-American to get in the way of our freedom to restrict people's freedoms. That was the point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know plenty about these things.
But
I love me some Bobby Drake. Yeah, well, if that's all we've got, then we're
darts.
being really lazy.
yeah. Y'all bone.
You can literally poke a hole in it as soon as someone gets pneumonia. Well, I'm not as old as you.
Well, haha, motherfucker, I got a wizard.
This is a Geek History of Time.
Where we connect nerdery to the real world. My name is Ed Blaylock. I'm a history teacher, currently on contractual unemployment until August, here in Northern California. And you may, on my end of this recording, you may hear noise in the background. That is a fan blowing right now. Because every year the air conditioning in my apartment goes out during the summer, and this is apparently the weekend during which that's going to happen this year. So I'm going to apologize to all of you ahead of time for the steady droning you may or may not pick up in the background. And now that I've said that, who the heck are you, sir, on the other end of this virtual connection?
I am Damian Harmony. I am a Latin teacher, also on forced unemployment layoff status. So for the 2 months that everybody thinks that we just get off for free, no, we just stretch 10 months of pay over 12. So it's like silly putty. It sags in the middle. I don't have air conditioning issues, thankfully. But you might hear my dog getting up and necessitating a quick break as he is starting to get more active at night, which is actually kind of a good thing. So,
okay,
yeah,
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah. Hey, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What was your favorite comic in the comic strips and the funny pages growing up?
Oh man!
Besides Mark Trail, obviously. Besides Mark Trail.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, Mark Trail.
Yeah.
Oh man. I liked a bunch of them. Now, I mean, it'll depend on kind of what phase of life you're talking about. Because by the time when I was in college and then immediately post-college, I was a really big fan of Zit.
I'm going to say...
Because it was a really good...
Pre-puberty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm enough of a basic bitch that like, as a kid, I thought Garfield was hysterically funny. I'm ashamed of myself to admit that now, but
my son is super into Garfield too. So
okay,
although
right.
I've guided him toward others, quite honestly.
Well, yeah, because you're a man of actual taste and distinction. So yeah, and you know, I was a big fan of Calvin and Hobbes, and I had a soft spot. In my heart, I always got a kick out of, as a nerd particularly, I always got a kick out of The Far Side and Bloom County.
Bloom County.
Damn,
Bloom
dude. It's huge. I loved Bloom County. I didn't get, the thing is, as a kid, I didn't get any of the political stuff. Sure. Because it just, all that kind of went over my head. I just thought it was like way out there and like weird and crazy and funny. And then as an adult, I went back and read a bunch of it and like, wow, Steve Dallas is a prick. like oh my god. Okay. So yeah, but those would be the big ones.
Well, it's funny that you would bring up The Far Side because that's what we're here to talk about today.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And it's this episode is titled "The Far Side of Absurd Governments."
Okay.
I think the thesis is in the title.
Pointy headed here. All right.
Yeah. So
I'm down for it.
On Christmas Eve, 2019, The Far Side finally stepped into the digital world. The website opened, and just shy of 25 years after Gary Larson's final cartoon, calling it quits, and everyone from Gen X likely rejoiced, said a hymn of their favorite captions, and then tried to push a door that said pull or put on socks and run around a kitchen table. Wax and wolves were optional.
Yeah.
No,
wax and wolves are not optional. No, I'm sorry. No.
I
Go big or go home.
I have said for years that the Far Side absolutely lends itself to a mobile app, and I would gladly pay, a $1.99 a month subscription. No one has heard me yet, unfortunately. I think it's a wonderful way for Gary Larson to get passive income on property he's already created.
Yeah,
But
I gotta tell you, I'd
yeah,
pay more than $1.99. Like, I totally get
hmm
what you're saying, and I
yeah,
totally agree.
yeah,
I think you're lowballing, which is a great negotiation tactic. I'm not gonna
yeah,
lie,
yeah.
but
Well, and also I
yeah, okay.
have all of the Far Sides at home, like the entire treasury. So I
And
would
you
only pay a
still
buck
pay
ninety
a
nine.
buck 99.
Yes,
Yeah, okay. All
because I'd
right.
have it with me. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
Growing up, I loved the Far Side. I used to sit there with the books that my mom and dad had, and they were like these long ways books. They were only this the height was only roughly that of a panel,
yeah.
and I would just pour through them. And some of them were over my head, other ones less so, but they were all very familiar to me. Rounded people, anthropomorphized animals, a single panel, self-contained, simple little absurd comics, and there was literally nothing like them. You had Marmaduke and Family Circus as single panels, but they were boring as shit. Um, you
Tell us what you really think, Damian. Don't hold back. Don't
um,
sugarcoat it.
yeah. BC and Garfield were quickly waning in humor by the time I hit about 8. The Lockhorns were basically the same abusive joke over and over again. Calvin and Hobbes was wonderful and subtle and clever, but it was long and it relied too much on knowing what had already happened. For better or for worse, had the same problem, and it was even less subversive than Calvin and Hobbes was. Kathy and Doonesbury were way over my head, way too far, and fuck Mark Trail. If I see him, I'm gonna kick his ass off the goddamn mountain. Uh, and for what it's worth, Sally Worth, you can catch these hands too, baby.
Okay.
But
All right.
the Far Side, that shit was evergreen. It was timeless. It was brilliant. It was elegant in the scientific term elegance, where something so simple accounts for so much. They were self-contained stories, and if I didn't get it tomorrow, there's another one. I didn't have to worry about remembering anything because the lady with the beehive and the horn rimmed glasses, she's going to be a different lady next time anyway. There were no recurring characters. It was really nice.
Yeah.
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 Now, as an adult, I'm 42 years old, and it came back. And that's awesome. Like, it is back as of January of this year. But then, of course, my brain starts grinding because that was essentially the impetus of our podcast together, is we started noticing certain things that keep recurring over time. Just recently I did an episode of The Twilight Zone. You also have taken on Battlestar Galactica or Orcs Over Time.
All of this has happened before,
Right.
and all of this will happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
to use one of those examples as the tagline for all of this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started thinking, like, well, what does it say about right now that the Far Side is coming back? What's the same now as was the same in January of 1980?
The world has gone completely bugfuck nuts.
Again. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what's the same. Because
yeah.
Okay. All
or
right. So,
Gary Larson likes round numbers.
Well, that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, 40 years is a nice, kind of thing. But I'm trying to think. So 1980, we have an Olympics we don't attend.
Good.
That we sit out.
Mm-hmm.
We have the other superpower. We're watching the other superpower start getting their asses kicked in a war against a third-rate group of tribal people in the mountains of Central Asia.
Yes.
Which nobody saw coming.
No.
Everybody's like, oh yeah, okay, well if the Soviets are rolling in, they're fucking done. And then no wait, didn't we have the same problem in Vietnam? Shouldn't we have seen this coming?
I like to think that they just felt left out and wanted their own Vietnam.
Yeah, well, you said that before. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like, well, hey, we want to have our imperial failure too.
Yeah. We're big boys. We can do this.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, the Italians had
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia.
Uh-huh.
We had Vietnam,
Yep. You know.
and and they had Afghanistan, and
Yeah.
now we have Afghanistan too.
Yeah. Well,
Again,
we don't want to be left out either. So
well,
it's like a
apparently, but
debutante coming out party. Like you've made it to Empire when you're ready to collapse.
wow, that's actually that's like you're throwing that out there as a bon mot, but that's actually remarkably pithy
Yeah.
and well elegant.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
that's
So yeah, what
I
else is
really
going
want
on
to
in
look at your
1980?
pedagogy for your world history kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's brilliant.
Yeah.
So let's see. 1980.
Mm-hmm.
1980. Afghanistan. We don't go to the Olympics because of Afghanistan. Reagan gets elected
Mm-hmm. Well, he's
in
in
that
January.
fall.
Yeah, in January of 80, primaries are still happening.
Yeah,
He's still
but
running.
he's running.
Mm-hmm.
So Carter's in the White House.
Mm-hmm.
We have been through now 2 gas crises. There's a recession on.
Iran is doing its thing. Like we
hmm?
have hostages in Iran.
Oh yeah,
Our
yeah,
people are
yeah.
hostages.
We literally the most powerful nation in the world have a bunch of hostages being held that we can't seem to do anything to get them back.
Well, we were unwilling to. Let's be fair. Like Carter never fired a bullet, never dropped a bomb. One of the reasons why is because there was a sandstorm that stopped his one attempt to do so, and he was trying to go through diplomacy.
Oh yeah, well, and we could at some point I'm going to need to try to find a way to match that mission up to something in pop culture because there's actually an awful lot of shit that went wrong. It wasn't just a sandstorm.
True.
There was fuel staging. I mean that whole operation was a complete snafu, like from the get-go.
And interestingly, Ross Perot actually had a successful version of it. So I bet you there's meat on that bone of private.
There
Oh, that's
probably is
Ghostbusters.
somewhere.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Private enterprise solving the problems
Right.
that the
Solving
EPA
the
cannot.
problem
Yeah.
the EPA can't do. Yeah.
So,
This man has no dick.
right.
Until Dickless here.
Right.
Wait.
I'm
Is
gonna
that
get
true?
you, Vincent.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna miss him. All right. So that's 1980.
Okay.
Any other fun stuff you want to mention?
Energy
that's
crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an awful lot of stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, we here's what it all to tie it all up in a nice big fat bow.
Mm-hmm.
I think we as a society we're suddenly having to grapple with the limitations of our hegemonic position. Like we were the most powerful nation in the world, but there was all this other shit we couldn't do anything about because we were just powerless. And so, or we felt powerless, or we were making choices that made us powerless, or whatever. For ordinary folks, it felt like we're the most powerful country in the world, but like we can't stop the universe shitting on us.
Well, yeah, it's like we are so powerful that we draw all the water, but actually it turns out if you punch us in the nose, we don't know what to do.
Yeah. No, totally. I think so.
Well,
Yeah.
so like any other time that I've asked the same question of why is this coming back or whatnot, I start looking at the conditions under which the art was made in the first place. And so here are my findings. Here is my journey.
Okay.
Like
Here we
with
go.
any story starting in 1980, we need to look back to a French symbolist playwright who was born in 1873, Alfred Jarry.
Okay.
I mean, I've
wait.
said that time after time, really. Just,
No, you've said if you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting.
God damn it, that was good. Well done. Well done.
The student has become the master.
Oh, goddamn. Yes, indeed. Oh.
Well, okay, not really. That's all I got in me probably tonight.
Hey, man,
but,
timestamp on that is about 1350 or so. So well done, sir. 63 episodes and 13 minutes in. I guess
Finally.
yes, the bacterial count has gone up enough that you also
Yeah.
have been co-opted by this disease that I have.
Yeah. And, yeah.
So,
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 so like I
no
tell
action.
people at bars, yes, any story starting in 1980, you have to go back to French symbolist playwright Alfred Jarry, who was born in 1873. I mean, that's just common knowledge.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is why you haven't ever said this to me because we've never been in a bar together.
Also true.
So,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
obviously. All
So
right. Okay.
this is my
So,
game, as it were. Yes. So,
okay. So,
and I mean, really, if you think about it,
80s. 80s, he's saying.
yes. Now we know
And,
why. So,
yeah, now what we've known.
yeah. Well,
I,
yes,
I hate to,
it's true.
we've all been trying to keep it on the down low, but we have all known.
We
I
don't
don't know if you have,
we
but
don't actually need to pin it on Alfred Jarry either. There are
no,
other
no.
systemic underlying issues. Yes. So,
So, okay.
so
So now educate me
uh-huh.
because I'm a Philistine,
Okay.
clearly.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean,
who is Jerry?
if you think about it, really, most of the things that I've talked about here stretch back to Alfred Jarry. Just some are more direct than others. All right. So Alfred Jarry, and I'm going to butcher French names because that's what a Latinist will do. Alfred Jarry was born in a town southwest of Paris in 1873 to an
Okay,
alcohol. Yeah.
I'm gonna quibble real fast.
Okay.
Latinists don't butcher French. French butchers Latin.
Fair, but they're still
Okay.
alive, so I didn't
Yeah.
adapt. So it's,
Right. Fine.
yeah.
Whatever. Okay. So born to
Born to an
somebody's
alcoholic salesman.
Okay.
And a mother who loved literature and music and who had a genetic predisposition toward insanity. He had, I think, a sister and a grandparent who ended up in an asylum. After she left his father, his mother moved them up to Brittany, France. So they went up to northern France.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm going to pause you right there because I find it interesting that we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
an artist
Yes.
who had a very strong attachment to their mother,
Mm-hmm.
had a father who was shiftless
Mm-hmm.
in one way or another,
Mm-hmm.
in this case alcoholic,
Mm-hmm.
and who had a mother figure who was adjacent to or suffered from some level of mental illness.
Yes.
Um, this is sounding an awful lot like Robert E. Howard.
Oh, I was going to say Adolf Hitler. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's-
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well,
Mm-hmm.
we talked about Howard and how much he sounded like a futurist. So
That's true. That's very
yeah,
true.
there
And
you go.
Jerry is going to fit neatly in there without being that at all. Spoiler
Okay.
alert. Yeah.
Okay,
So
carry on.
Alfred was decent at school, and at 15 years old, he co-wrote his first play with a classmate, poking fun at their obese physics teacher, whom they considered rather dim-witted. They used marionettes, and this is an important detail, they used marionettes to put the play on at a friend's house. And the physics teacher, whose name was Hebert, or Herbert, the marionette was round, had 3 teeth, a retractable ear, and other features that would later come to manifest in his most famous character. So,
Okay.
yeah, even at 15, he'd written his most famous character already. He's just going to keep tumbling it over and over until it's polished. In France, he wrote poems, and he was pretty good at it. By 1893, he was struck with influenza, though. His mother and his sister nursed him back to health, and then his mother got it and died.
Oh, that's not gonna fuck him up at all.
Not at all. 2 years later, his estranged father died, and Alfred got an inheritance, and he spent it as quickly as he could, marrying the best of both family predilections, becoming an alcoholic with questionable sanity.
All right, like you do.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Now, like all good French alcoholics under 5 feet tall, he was drafted into the army.
Okay, wait. Back up. Back up.
Sure.
Back the truck up.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
So I feel like you buried the lead here. Hold on.
Sure.
Hold on. Okay.
Most of this episode is about short Frenchmen, by the way. Like, there's at least 3 of them.
Toulouse-Lautrec?
No, actually. Although I think I do bring him up. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
Like if you're talking about short Frenchmen, you'd have to. But hold on.
Sure.
Hold on. You're telling me
Uh-huh.
this frog was under 5 feet tall?
Yep.
Okay. As a short guy?
Mm-hmm.
this would have had my buy-in like way higher, like from word one. Okay,
Yeah.
so he's under 5 feet tall.
Yes.
He's a confirmed alcoholic.
Yes.
And now, did he join the army or
No,
was he
he
drafted?
was drafted.
Okay, because this is the 1890s.
Yep.
And okay, all right, okay.
Everybody's, yeah.
So, so, so somehow that didn't get him the whatever the French equivalent was of 4F'd.
No.
Like,
Yeah. Because
what did you have to do to get medically disqualified?
I
Like,
don't know. I mean, being a drunk is
holy
not a medical
cow.
disqualification. And being short isn't
Okay.
either.
You'd think that being under 5 feet tall might be.
It would actually be an advantage. You could be the guy who's running computer or wire cable, across the trenches.
Okay, yeah, trench warfare era.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. All right.
But
Handling a rifle gets a lot tougher when you get below a certain. I'm just gonna say. All right. So anyway.
Well, in fairness, though, the Japanese army in the 1930s, their main rifle was actually as tall, if not taller, than some of their soldiers. I mean, that thing was made extra big, but I think it starts with an A.
The Arisaka. Arisaka.
Yeah.
I know that.
Mm-hmm.
I know that partly because Artelsorian Games, Mike Pondsmith named one of the mega corporations in Cyberpunk 2020 and Cyberpunk before that 2013 after the Arisaka manufacturing company, which made the rifles that were made for the Japanese army. So Arasaka, Arasaka. So anyway. So yeah, no, the Arisaka rifle was particularly long because they were looking for long range accuracy.
Yeah,
but all right, anyway,
those were taller than soldiers too. So he was, however, excused from drill usually because the clothing that they had, the smallest uniform, was still comically too big for him.
Yeah.
And because of this silliness and because of the health issues that did stem from his alcoholism, he did get discharged. But that didn't stop him from drafting him. He washed out. And then he went to live and drink and write in Paris.
Like you do.
Uh-huh. And he hung out with a lot of the art critics at the time, the artistic intelligentsia. Picture like a really sad version of all the buddies in Moulin Rouge.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's your Toulouse reference.
Or the Algonquin round table with all the alcoholism and none of the wit.
Yes. So in this play, well, I'll get to the play in a second. So eventually he writes his most important play, which is really the thing that'll help explain the Far Side more than 80 years later. It's called Ubu Roy.
Ubu.
Uh-huh.
R-O-I.
R-O-I. So King Ubu.
Okay.
Now, does the name Ubu ring any bells for you?
I'm going to have to confess that it does not.
So not sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog. Uh-huh. They named that production studio after this. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You have all of my attention. Keep talking.
So, in Ubu Roy, a fat, incompetent, false-toothed, grotesque caricature of a king is essentially a parody of Macbeth. His wife convinces him to start a revolution in Poland and overthrow the king. They do this, and Ubu becomes the king. Now, I'm going to get into the plot here, and it's going to seem somewhat farcical because it is.
Okay.
Ubu so heavily taxes the people and throws out all the civil servants that he's the only one that can collect taxes from the beleaguered people. His henchman goes and starts a fight with the Tsar of Russia, who then declares war on Ubu's Poland. He rides out to face the Russians, and his wife, Ubu's wife, is looting the country's treasury and running off. Ubu gets beat by the Russians, all of his followers die, and he gets attacked by a bear. His wife pretends to be the archangel Gabriel and tries to trick him into forgiving her for her theft. Eventually, after he knocks down some attackers with the body of the bear that attacked him, he and his wife flee to France. That's the synopsis.
Okay.
Yeah. The central character is notorious for his infantile engagement with his world. Ubu inhabits a domain of greedy self-satisfaction and self-gratification. Jerry's metaphor for the modern man. He is an anti-hero. Fat, ugly, vulgar, gluttonous, grandiose, dishonest, stupid, jejune, voracious, greedy, cruel, cowardly, and evil. I had a lot of fun with the thesaurus.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, the moment you bring out jejune,
yes.
That's like me referencing the Algonquin Round Table. You're just scoring points.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
So I just want to go over that list of things again because it's going to play in later.
Okay.
Fat, ugly, vulgar, gluttonous, grandiose, dishonest, stupid, jejune, voracious, greedy, cruel, cowardly, and evil. Yes?
I have no idea how that's going to come in later on.
You'll be surprised.
What on earth are you talking about, Damian?
Well, it's the play is ridiculous too, and it's a grotesque send-up of several classics. If you've ever seen Hamlet 2, the movie Hamlet 2, have you ever seen that?
No.
So much fun. It's got that kind of feel. It's
okay.
God, I forget who the main character is in it, but Catherine Keener is in it.
Okay.
And Elizabeth Shue is in it, playing Elizabeth Shue. It's just it's cheap, it's tawdry, it's obscene without even realizing why. I mean, Hamlet 2 has a song called "Rock Me, Sexy Jesus."
Okay.
So the thing
All
is,
right.
yeah,
okay.
And that came out. God, I was teaching where I'm teaching now. So we're talking 2007 maybe. And it was fun, right? But in 1896, this kind of a plot has a very different impact. The play itself opened and closed on the same night because
it was incredibly seditious. I mean, the idea of because we're talking about the 1890s here, so Germany is still ruled by a royal family.
Mm-hmm. France is the only one that's not.
Yeah, I mean, you're still dealing with at the France was the most liberal democracy of all the democracies of Western Europe at that time.
Yes.
The Spanish were still a royal family. The Germans, obviously, the
British, the Russians, the Austro-Hungary,
British, the Russians, Austria-Hungary. Everybody was ruled by kings. All of those. Or kings and queens.
Yeah.
But all of those royal families had, at the very least, individuals within them who had reputations for being one or more of those negative, adjectives that you used a moment ago.
Quite so.
And anything, I mean, like lèse-majesté was a crime in any number of countries. He's lucky he put this on in France, because if he'd done it in Germany, he'd have been hauled off and thrown in jail. Because I think Kaiser Wilhelm was in charge at that. No, Wilhelm hadn't taken over yet, had he?
Well, I'm getting there in about a paragraph. So
okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Hohenzollerns would not have tolerated that shit at all.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So the play
it was scandalous at the time.
The play opened with a mispronunciation of the word for shit. That was the opening line. And in 1896. Now, when the play was over, a riot broke out. An actual, honest-to-goodness, goddamned riot. Like I'm saying, it was a different time in 1896. Oh, and after that, because the play was literally outlawed, Alfred Jarry moved his play into puppetry from then on. I'm going to say that sentence again because it's worth repeating. After his play was outlawed, he moved it into puppetry from then on.
So this is the 1890s equivalent of the comic book genre ghetto.
Yes. This is Mad Magazine becoming a magazine. It's so much that. And I'm going to bring that up later. So, in 1896...
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, a riot broke out at the end of this play.
Yeah, which is the goddamn craziest thing I've ever heard of. I've never heard of a play causing a fucking riot. A riot, like Chicago in 1968.
Yeah. But okay. Here's the thing, though.
Like 10-cent beer night in Cleveland. A riot, like sports riots. I kind of get, But
You
you
know, the
riot
Eagles
over
winning
a
a title.
play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Okay. But here's the deal. No,
Mm-hmm.
in that time period,
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't the mass media the same way there is now.
True.
And so, going to a play was something that people did for entertainment
Mm-hmm.
in the way that we watch TV or go to a sporting event.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also worth noting that there were classical symphonies, and I'm blanking right now. I want to say it's Stravinsky. No, Rites of Spring. Who the hell did Rites of Spring?
I don't know.
Anyway, a Russian composer,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody please on Twitter correct me when you hear this. Tell me who the hell it was, because it's going to drive me nuts. But when the Rites of Spring opened,
It's
there was a
Stravinsky.
riot.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
but Stravinsky's Rites of Spring
Mm-hmm.
was this like it incensed people. Like it was this incredibly sensual, decadent. Oh my God, the
Mm-hmm.
nature of the music was such that people considered it this aberration and this horrible, degraded, perverse kind of thing.
This is
Because
17
I mean,
years
Rites
before
of
that,
Spring.
though.
Yeah, well, no,
Yeah.
I understand, but
Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to say is it was a different era. What always gets me about these stories,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, I'd heard about Stravinsky forever ago. So you said, well, after this play was over, there was a riot. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay, I can see that. What always gets me is they always wait until the end of the performance.
Right. They're polite.
Like,
They rioted with their fingers out.
like you're gonna okay. So I could just see them like in an airplane movie, sitting in the seats as everything's going on, like tying the rags around the tops of the vodka bottles to do the Molotov cocktails,
Yep.
and sharpening the stakes for the barricades.
Oh, yeah.
Like
And still
like,
standing
you're
for the
gonna
applause, and then being like,
yeah yeah
okay, is
yeah,
now?
and
Is
then,
now?
okay, so now I fuck shit up.
Right.
Okay, okay, curtain call, let's fucking roll. Like, how? That I don't get. That's the part I never get. Like, how do you wait until the end of the? If you're gonna riot about something, why do you wait until the end? Are you sitting through the whole time like, okay, so like in the third act, if he fixes this shit, I'm not gonna break windows.
Right.
We're not flipping any cop cars. If the main character and the romantic interest actually wind up together at the end, then we're not flipping cop cars. But so help me God, if he kills the dog, I'm like, we're done. Like,
Could you imagine? Like, I'm just trying to think of a movie that I would riot after, or a play, and I can't.
Thin Red Line. I wanted to punch somebody in the fucking head after the Thin Red Line.
Really? I think I watched it
Not
while I had a
even gonna
fever.
lie.
So.
Well, it's probably the best time to watch. Either that or insensate drunk. So I went to see that with a couple of friends,
Mm-hmm.
and I got way too big a soda, and it was way too long a movie.
So you wanted to punch people because you had a bladder buster.
No.
Okay.
I got up because it was also an interminably slow fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I got up and I went to the bathroom, and I came back, and I'm standing not in the doorway to the theater, but like, at the ramp. I don't want to go to my seat yet, because I'm watching the screen, and everything happening on the screen looks like, oh, okay, well, they're about to wrap this all up, because it's been 2 hours and 10 minutes, so like, here we go. And the movie kept going for another 40 minutes.
Yep.
Like, I mean, it wasn't an issue of my bladder. It was like, pick a fucking ending. Because there were 3 different times. Like, I walked up and I was like, oh, okay, all right, they're going to end it now. And Danny Moss, swelling music, and then they kept going. And I was like, okay, well, can I go? No, okay, no. Okay, this thread of the story is now coming to an end. They're going to end the okay, now we're going to end the movie. Swelling music and this, that, and the other, and it kept going. And like, when the movie finally fucking ended, I was like, no, I'm not moving yet. No, it's gonna rise from the dead. Like, something's gonna fucking happen. So yeah, no, at the end of that movie, I wanted to punch somebody. So I can understand getting to the end of a movie and being like, all right, somebody I wish a motherfucker would. Somebody give me a reason.
Okay. Well, you would have fit in on that night. So
Oh, I would. I would. I'd have been punching people left and right, I'm sure.
So we're gonna go to commercial, and
Okay.
then when we come back from our ad break, I'll give you the context of why this was, and you pretty much have nailed it. But I just want to name some names. So
Okay. Awesome.
we'll catch you on the other side of the break.
Hello, Geek Timers. This is producer George, interrupting this podcast to let you know that we have space available. This space could be used to promote your product, book, event, group, even wish a special someone happy birthday. If you're interested in using this space, please contact us on Twitter via private message at Geek History Time.
Welcome back. Good ads. Be good to have more ads. So if people want to put stuff in there, like the producer George message said, let us know. You got birthdays coming up. We're actually doing a pretty good job of recording within about a month of release. So in the meantime, in 1896, essentially Europe is ruled by Queen Victoria, Tsar Nicholas, Wilhelm II, Franz Joseph, and Felix Faure. Faure. It's French. I don't know, but he's
Okay,
the
wait.
French president. Yes.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
and he had
Because everybody else you just mentioned was a royal,
yes,
and then him, and I'm like,
yeah, because
wait,
it's the
I
Third
recognize-
Republic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
because I recognized all those names but his. And I'm
Yeah,
like, wait.
yeah. It's
Okay.
the kind of thing that gets left out of they're like, oh, here's all the royals. That's what they had in common, and like they left out the legally elected one democracy at the time.
Well, okay. But here's the thing.
Mhm.
The deal is, I don't know. I don't know if I'm sticking up for the historiographers responsible for that, but when you have a dynasty running things,
Mhm.
there's a thread throughout that kind of makes it an easier mnemonic to try to remember. Okay, this group of people is this set of names. When you have a liberal democracy that elects a new factotum every 4 years, 8 years, 6 years, whatever, it's unless you're specifically talking about a specific set of events,
Mhm.
then within a broader curriculum, like we can talk about the Hohenzollern dynasty running, what is now Germany, for the length of time that they did.
Right. No, I see
As
what you
a
mean.
group
Like
of people,
World War One ends the old world order, and that's
yeah,
usually.
and then
But the thing is that you have all those empires. This one was an empire run by a democracy. I think that's worthy of note.
Okay, good point.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
All right.
he had no fewer than 6 prime ministers in the course of 4 years.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're saying is the Third Republic and the Weimar Republic had about the same level of political stability.
Well, interestingly, he was elected specifically because he was so bland he would offend nobody politically. Because
okay.
personally, he was
All right.
really entertaining. He entered a scandalous affair almost immediately, entered into the Franco-Russian alliance, made a shitty choice in the Dreyfus affair, and in 1899, he died of apoplexy.
Jacques.
In 1899, he died of apoplexy while possibly getting a blowjob from his mistress in the presidential office.
So what we're saying is he's kind of the guy Uncle Billy wanted to be.
Potentially.
I mean,
I'd say Billy did a better job, quite honestly. He stayed alive.
well, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're going to go out,
I don't know if I'd want to do that to anybody.
Okay, good.
Because then there's
All
the
right.
gap
Okay,
time of when did they
there's-
figure it out, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good point.
So-
But all right.
So his play, okay, back to Jerry's play.
Right.
Yeah. Is what really, so that's the context under which it was written. It really influenced what would later come to be known as theater of the absurd in the 1950s. Now Jerry.
Now hold on.
Yeah.
Back up. Theater of the Absurd. We're talking about Waiting for Godot. And
Yes.
Ilk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure I know what we're talking about when we use that term.
I'll get there.
Okay.
So he spent most of his very short life, the rest of his short life, because he died in 1907 due to tuberculosis and drugs, in a truncated apartment, which was fine for a man of his height, but everyone else had to stoop to get in. It was weird. There's so much I edited out about him. Yeah.
Okay.
So did you ever see Being John Malkovich?
On the Far Side.
What's that?
It sounds like a character on the Far Side.
Yeah, except Far Side was much shorter and much more self-contained. Like, there's so much backstory that you would need for this to work.
Yeah, no, I understand, but you know what I mean.
But yeah,
like take any vignette out of his daily life, and it could be plugged in.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, which explains why he was an absurdist.
Well, he wasn't.
Okay,
he was a proto-absurdist. He was a symbologist.
Symbolist.
Yes.
Symbolist. Okay. No, I have not seen Being John Malkovich.
Okay. There is a 7.5 floor in Being John. Like the whole thing happens in an office building that I think is a send back to that. I think they were clearly looking at Jerry's life. He influenced several art and literary critics, French authors, artists, poets. Ubu gave the audience, quote, a particular kind of pleasure for an audience watching these infantile attacks. Part of the satisfaction arises from the fact that in the burlesque mode which Jerry invents, there is no place for consequence. While Ubu may be relentless in his political aspirations and brutal in his personal relations, he apparently has no measurable effect on those who inhabit the farcical world which he creates around himself. He thus acts out our most childish rages and desires, in which we seek to gratify ourselves at all cost.
Okay.
Now on to the 1950s.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait.
Yeah.
Hold on. Wait.
I think just leaving that there is not a bad move.
Okay.
Because it's. I mean, I'm punching Bozo in the nose.
Okay. All right. So
yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
He at this point, I gotta admit, before we make this time skip,
mm-hmm.
I have to admit, I'm now hearing all of this, and like, this guy is the seminal figure in multiple kinds of genres.
Yes.
And is this proto
mm-hmm.
Absurdist and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How exactly is it? I'm going to say I'm pretty well read dude.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you are.
I don't want to be arrogant about it, but I think I'm a pretty well read dude.
You're far broader read than I am.
Yeah. I'm pretty, I'm educated.
Yes,
I don't have a master's degree yet, like you do, but I'm an educated man.
Mm-hmm.
How did I not know about this dude? Like I feel this is a personal failing. Like I'm now looking. I'm now like oh my God, there's this huge gap in my knowledge that's based around this one dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how have I not heard this name before?
Yeah, the connective tissue between him and a whole bunch of stuff that you have heard of is quite interesting, actually. Like it's a lot of like, whoa, it kind of comes back to him a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the 1890s are such an intercalary kind of time. Like, it's basically like, yeah, and then everybody got ready for war. Like, that's what really stole the thunder in most of our education. I would imagine.
Yeah, that's okay. Good point. Yeah. We hear about the Victorian era.
Yeah.
We mostly hear about Victoria.
Mm-hmm. You hear about the buildup of alliances. You'll hear about Wilhelm II. You might hear about Belgium, Congo. You might hear about Nietzsche maybe in the 1890s because he dies in 95.
And you might, if you're really, really, digging around, you'll hear about the Dreyfus Affair.
Right. And even that's like half a paragraph.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, all right,
yeah.
All right. I feel a little less.
There's
bad,
a lot of really important things happening in the world at that time with regards to revolution, blowing up despots and stuff like that. Like the world is in a state of flux. So not knowing about this one playwright, I give everyone a pass on that.
Okay, but
Yeah.
you hear about the revolutions of 1848,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're kind of, and then the world history curriculum in Gen Civ,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of skips from there to okay, and then we have imperialism
Right.
and all of this, and
Yeah.
balance of power, this, that, and the other thing, and all these guys, and now we're moving on to the build up to World War One,
Yes.
like you said, and so this is like interstitial
Yeah. It really
kind of
is.
tissue. So okay,
It's
all right.
fun. It's fun, but
Yeah.
it's by no means
Jesus.
the meat on the bone that you want.
Okay,
So,
all right.
okay, 1950s. Gary Larson
Yes.
was born in Tacoma, Washington in 1950.
So he is a like this is how do I want to put this? He is at the crest of the wave of the baby boom.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So he is right there on the peak of that
Mm-hmm.
of that statistical
Yep. Bell
bump.
that we see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both of his parents worked, lower middle class lifestyle from what I could find. He went to college, got a bachelor's of arts in communications. For a while, he was interested in biology. He was the youngest of two. His older brother Dan would scare him every chance he got.
Okay.
But Dan would also help Gary catch all manner of fauna and build terraria in their basement to keep them in.
Okay.
So growing up in suburban Tacoma, essentially through the Eisenhower and Kennedy years as a youth, would have put him, it would have put him in an environment that was keenly aware of the existential threat of nuclear war with both Russia and China. Even if, like many kids, he wouldn't have had the context for it, and he could have easily ignored it, it would have been in the water in which he swam, which is something we're fond of saying.
Well, yeah, it would have been it suffused the atmosphere.
Mhm.
I mean, very very early on
Yep.
in our conversations, we talked about the experiences our parents had as
Right.
boomers.
And he's in
And-
Tacoma, which is, I mean, that's, there were a lot of people figuring out which places would get attacked first in a nuclear strike. And up in Washington, that's where you've got a lot of manufacture for airplanes and such like that. So
Yeah,
there's
it's part of the state that is So
So yeah, I think his later artwork absolutely belies that influence, by the way, even though he ascribes it to just his older brother being shitty and kind.
okay,
So we'll get to Larson's first Far Side comic on January 1st, 1980 in the San Francisco Chronicle in a little bit. But really, to get to Gary Larson, we of course have to talk about more French playwrights. Like you do.
because obviously,
Yeah. And to talk
Well,
about them,
okay.
I need to talk
Okay.
about Albert Camus.
oh God,
And a little bit about Jean-Paul Sartre afterwards. But don't worry, I will get to Eugene Ionesco. I have not abandoned you, Eugene. So
okay,
here we go with Albert Camus.
oh God, okay.
You don't like Albert Camus.
This is the philosophical equivalent for me of eating my Wheaties. like
Well, let's see if I can pour a little sugar on it.
like I know I have to do it, but
Yeah.
oh my God.
Okay. Well, so Albert Camus is a French philosopher. He wrote an essay in 1942 titled The Myth of Sisyphus. In 1935, he had joined the French Communist Party to fight against the inequalities that he saw in Algeria specifically, despite not being a Marxist.
Okay, hold on.
Yes.
Now, was Camus a Blackfoot,
Remind me what that means.
French-born Algerian, or ethnic French born in Algeria?
No.
Okay.
No. Oh God, I can't remember where he lived. He was in France proper though.
Okay, because I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember who it was, but there was.
Jacques Derrida was.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was into
That might be-
deconstructionism, but that's not
Okay,
till the
but-
70s. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
All right. Not who I'm thinking.
Jacques
of, but
Derrida
anyway.
was a French Jew living in Algeria.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Camus was not a Marxist. He was much more spiritual than most Marxists. He believed that morality was not merely a function of history, and so he quit that group and joined the Algerian Communist Party because he saw them as having a better shot at ending totalitarian colonial rule.
Okay.
when the PCA, which is the
Something Algier.
yeah, and the Algerian People's Party. It's the Party Communist Algier.
Parti.
Yep. And when they and the Algerian People's Party suffered from fighting amongst each other, Camus was expelled from the PCA for not being Stalinist enough.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I have to stop you there, but you talk about the PC and the Algerian People's Party.
Oh yeah,
and,
it's very
all
Monty
I can
Python.
think of, all I can think of is, no, we're not the Judean People's Front, we're the People's Front of Judea.
Yeah, fuck off. Yeah,
those bastards, fuck off.
yeah.
Sorry.
So, that's okay. Yeah, and from then on, he also had
this is the problem the left has always had.
Yeah, well, that's yeah. Being a coalition party, you tend to abrade each other quite a bit. You don't have a single savior on the left.
Yeah.
So he also had the twin focus of being deeply distrustful of bureaucracy and being very interested in the idea of human dignity. So while he was in the PCA, he'd been the main organizer of the Workers' Theater.
Okay.
In the late 1930s, he'd been a writer for an anti-fascist leftist newspaper that specifically focused on French Algeria. In 1940, that paper got banned by the French government. So then he flew to Paris and became the editor-in-chief of Paris Soir, S-O-I-R.
Soir.
Paris Soir.
Because the French don't know how to spell.
Right, well,
Anyway.
or they're remarkably consistent. We just aren't hip to their codes.
No.
While he was there, he wrote his first trilogy. And he, I forget what he exactly called them, but essentially he would write things in a trilogy. It would be a novel, a play, and a philosophical essay. And specifically, he was tackling the concept of the absurd and meaninglessness. And he did this in 1942. He ended up being friends with Jean-Paul Sartre and was an active member of the resistance after the army refused to take him.
No, okay, wait.
Yep.
Do we know why the army? Was it political?
No, I don't think. Well, with him, it might have been. I think it was because he wasn't healthy enough, which is interesting when the Nazis are marching through. Yeah. So in the myth of Sisyphus, Camus said that human existence is devoid of meaning, but paradoxically, humans will never stop seeking that meaning.
Yeah, and the interpretations that I've seen and may have bastardized or misunderstood is that there is no inherent meaning in human existence,
right?
But our quest for meaning it whatever makes meaning, creates whatever meaning we make for it. We are responsible for making the meaning of our own existence.
That's a little bit more Sartre than it is Camus, but they're fairly close together.
Okay.
So he said that the moment that Sisyphus was happy was the moment that Sisyphus returned to the stone at the bottom of the hill and started pushing it again. So just for our listeners that aren't picturing this, Sisyphus was a guy who basically called out Zeus for being shitty, and he was punished for the eternity of the afterlife by having to push a rock up to the top of a hill just to see it fall back down one way or the other. He could never get it fully balanced. I think there was a promise that once he got it balanced, then he could be amongst the gods or something. Different stories.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And depending on the version, it's either that he could never manage to get it balanced, or it would shatter into a bunch of pieces, roll back down the hill, and then reform.
Right. So it probably depends on the island that you were on when you heard the story.
Yeah. So, living in an archipelago, it's the way it works.
Yeah.
So okay.
Interesting. I just want to come back to that for just a second. The Greeks, obviously their religions influenced the Romans. But the Greeks were on a shit ton of islands, right? Archipelago, like you said.
Archipelago. Yeah.
The Norse gods, these are two cultures that are separated by over 1,000 years and a shit ton of space, and they never had any contact with each other.
Yeah.
But what I find fascinating is this. Let me see if I can remember it. The Monday is called Monday because the moon, right?
Yeah, Moon's Day.
Yeah. And Sunday is called Sunday because of the sun, right? In Latin, the word for Sunday is solis, the day of the sun. In Latin, the word for Monday is the day of the moon, lunae. Tuesday, that's Tears Day, if I recall. In Latin, it's Martis. Now, Tears, the god of war. I mean, they're all kind of annex gods of war. But Martis is Mars.
We're talking. Yeah, we are talking. We are talking about the Norse here, and war. Like Odin was a god of war.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Odin is Wednesday, Woden's day.
Yep.
Right. The day for Wednesday in Latin is Mercurii. Actually, it's the day of Mercury. Although Odin is seen as a traveler as well, and so is Mercury.
Yes. Well, that what that gets back to is the linguistic idea, anthropological linguistic idea of all of these cultures having their roots in the same
it's called the PIE, the Proto-Indo-European language.
Yeah. They're all. I mean, and these concepts are so
baked
deeply,
in.
so deeply embedded in the proto beginnings of anything we would recognize as our culture that, like, you could look at the Scythians.
Yeah, but here's the thing:
find that stuff.
They would have had contact with the Romans and Greeks. The Norse didn't at all.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting my timelines wrong. I'm talking about. There's a reason. The reason this is in my head is there was an article I saw online where they discovered a set of boots. They referred to as Scythian.
Yes,
but they were the year 2000 BC.
Yeah,
so like a 4,000-year-old, which. Okay,
cool.
for those of you in the audience who aren't up on this, this is a pair of leather and fabric boots. And what is astounding about this is that they have been dated through carbon dating and layer dating and all the other stuff that archaeologists do to 2000 BC.
Yeah,
and if you look up, Scythian boots 2000 BC, you'll find this thing. And they're gorgeous. I just want to say. Secondly, it is, for anybody who doesn't understand how archaeology kind of works and what the problems of it are, it is vanishingly rare.
Yes.
To find anything made out of fabric that's more than a few hundred years old.
Yeah.
That's any kind of natural fiber. I should add a caveat there, because in 2,000 years from now they're going to find all the fucking polyester in the world.
Yes.
Because that doesn't break down. But cotton, linen, silk, all of that stuff, of course, is biological material, which means it gets eaten by bacteria, which means after a couple of hundred years it's gone.
Right.
And the reason these were preserved is they were way up in Siberia in the permafrost, and they were literally frozen for 4,000 years. And so when I'm talking about Scythians in this context, I'm talking about a couple of thousand, like long before the Greeks, long before the Romans as we recognize them. That's when I say Scythians, that's the group I'm talking about, like Proto-Scythians, Proto-Indo-European.
Right. But there still would have been inroads from that area into the Eastern Mediterranean area.
Yeah.
So,
well, I guess what I'm saying is that
you don't have that going up to Norway.
Yeah. Well, all of these things are coming from the same set of deeply buried roots.
Yeah. Again, I still am stuck on the fact that Norway is way the fuck up north, past several impassable bodies of water for those people, and again 1,000 years later.
Yeah, well, migration periods.
Yeah,
I'm just the the one of the most remarkable things that we're seeing now, looking at archaeological evidence, now that we have access to the kind of mitochondrial DNA analysis tools and all that kind of stuff, is we're figuring out, and this is something that a mutual friend of ours online loves to boil down to a simple quote: people get around.
They do. They absolutely do.
You know, and it's becoming it's becoming ever clearer that people have been moving around from generation to generation a great deal more.
True.
Throughout our history, from the Neolithic period or older, than we ever had any concept of for a very long time.
True. So Thursday
anyway,
is named for Thor, who is the god of thunder.
Yeah.
The word for Thursday in Latin is Jovis, which is the day of Jupiter, who is the god of thunder. Yeah. Friday, and this is my favorite one, Friday is the day of Freya, the goddess of fertility.
Well, either Freya or her brother Freyr, who's the spear version of that same concept. But
so the god of fucking. So
and the harvest and plants growing and
but also fucking
fertility. In all its various and sundry forms. Yes.
So what's really cool is the Latin word for Friday is Veneris, which is the day of Venus, who's the god of fucking. So Friday has always been the day of fucking. And
so now, okay, so hold on.
And all the others match up too.
Okay. So this opens up a whole other can of lube. So now the question is, when the 5-day work week got decided, and Friday became the beginning of the weekend.
Yep.
On a subconscious level, do you think that was the reason? That they all agreed that, because like it could have been, okay, no, we're going to have the weekend be Sunday and Monday, because Sunday is the day, in Western society,
right?
Predominantly Christian society, Sunday's the day we all attend worship collectively.
Well, Sunday is the day of it's the first day of the week, and therefore it's the first fruits, right? Yeah. And the Sabbath is the last day of the week. And God was not a union guy, but he he wanted the 6-day work week. But you get that last day off, which means the day of fucking happens, and then you can sleep in and have your day off.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is a rest day.
Yes. So get your fucking in.
And my Farscape pals are going to recognize that reference, but okay.
Yeah.
I am going to speak up for Jehovah here and say that he said you're going to rest on this day. He never said you're only going to rest on that day.
Oh, true.
He said you're going to set this day aside.
Yeah.
And you're going to make it holy.
Okay.
And you're not going to do any work on this day. He never said you got to work, back-breaking labor the other 6. He just said this day you set aside.
Okay.
And of course he was saying this to people who were shepherds and subsistence farmers.
Yeah.
So by definition, you're going to work backbreaking labor the other 6 days. Yeah. Because otherwise,
because now you have to take a fucking day off now too.
Because you gotta feed the kids, right? So I think had the revelation of the 10 Commandments come down in an industrialized set of circumstances, they'd look very different.
Oh, quite so. Yes. Yeah.
Because God speaks to the audience he has at the time. So anyway, moving on.
So the Romans, 1,000 years before the Norse, different pantheons, different cultures, never touched each other. Both had essentially the same days, except for Saturday. Saturday is the day of Saturn, who eats all his children. And the Latin one for that is, I forget. It might actually be, well, I don't remember.
But yeah. Here's the thing. Saturday is taken directly. The funny thing to me is we have Monday, Tuesday, or Sunday, Monday, Sun, Moon. And then we have all Norse.
Right.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to Saturday, and all of a sudden, it's a Greek Titan again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, off the top of my head, I don't even know what the Norse name for that day was.
Yeah, nor I. So
anyway.
Yeah. Back to Sisyphus.
Yes.
So Sisyphus, Camus sees Sisyphus as being happy the second he starts pushing the rock again, because at that moment he understands the pointlessness of everything. And Sisyphus is all of us. Here's a quote. "The workman of today works every day of his life at the same tasks, and this fate is no less absurd, but it is tragic only at the rare moments when it becomes conscious." That's Camus. And he's basically focusing on Sisyphus's thoughts as he's walking back to the stone that just rolled down the hill. Here's another quote. "It is during that return, that pause, that Sisyphus interests me. A face that toils so close to stones is already stone itself." I think something lost in translation there. "I see that man going back down with a heavy yet measured step toward the torment of which he will never know the end." And so once Sisyphus acknowledges how silly all of this is and how certain his fate actually is, he's truly free to embrace the absurdity of it all. And once he does that, there's a contentedness. Camus imagined that that's the moment of happiness.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand
Mm-hmm.
the chain of logic involved in that.
Mm-hmm. Add
And
to the
as a metaphor,
Mm-hmm.
I see how it makes sense.
Well, let's add an extra layer to that then.
Okay.
He's a leftist who hated fascism, who saw his own country as an imperial oppressor, and he was banned from saying leftist shit, and then suddenly his country got overrun with meth-addled super fascists. And he's looking around going, yeah, nothing means fucking anything.
I'm sorry, the phrase meth-addled super fascists to describe the Wehrmacht is just too perfect.
Yeah. It's also Hydra.
Well, yeah, them too. Wow.
So
okay.
In the first chapter, in the first chapter of his essay, and I'm not going to tackle the whole thing, but I do want you to see some of the antecedents to what we're going to recognize later. Camus tackles the idea of suicide as a necessary reaction to the absurdity. If life is absurd and meaningless, does that realization require suicide? It's a hell of a question to ask, and it's not actually as depressing as you might think, because the idea that we live based on hope means that we want tomorrow to come. And here's where it gets fun. If tomorrow comes, that brings us one day closer to death. So the very thing that we hope for is the thing that will, by necessity, destroy us.
Okay, so here's
Mm-hmm.
my just I'm going to interject here.
Sure.
With where I'm at hearing this. So I can understand
Mm-hmm.
how it is that somebody who really gets into existentialism, because that is what we're talking about here,
We're not there yet.
take.
He is not an existentialist. That doesn't come until start. But you're right. We are right there. We're cresting.
We're right.
We're seeing the interweaving between that and absurdity.
We're opening the door to walk in the threshold to it.
Well, because Camus is really big on, if you have any hope whatsoever, you're not an absurdist. And so he's dogmatic in absurdism.
Okay.
But yes, they are cousins.
He's right up there.
Yes.
So what we're looking at here is some of the underpinnings of existentialism.
Yes.
Would be a better way to put that, maybe. And there is a very, if you take the Venn diagram of Buddhism and existentialism,
Mm-hmm.
the overlap is really significant.
This
having
mm-hmm.
Spent a lot of time trying to teach Buddhism to middle schoolers.
Yes.
This is, and the thing is, to anybody who hasn't spent a lot of time reading up on all of the background and all of the ins and outs of what all of this stuff means,
right?
Buddhism sounds fucking depressing. So,
yeah.
Okay, life is suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what a fucking downer.
Yeah,
like,
thanks, bud.
Hold on. What?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Gautama. What the hell,
yeah.
man? And I know
mm-hmm.
that part of my reaction to this is just because, well, first off, I'm a deist, which,
mm-hmm.
Means that existentialism and I are going to have a fraught relationship to begin with.
Well, you might need some Kierkegaard to get you there.
Probably. But the premise of what we're talking about everything repeating and there's no the march toward our inevitable death.
Mm-hmm.
We hope for this. It is like
we hope for that next step too.
To oversimplify, we're saying that we're hoping for the next step is the Freudian death urge.
Yes.
To again,
mm-hmm.
take a bunch of steps out of the middle here, but
yeah, it's why the moth flies toward the light. It's that kind of thing. Yeah.
And from anybody, and I haven't spent a lot of time reading about Camus or Sartre.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably spent more than most people, but that's because I'm a humanities major.
Mm-hmm.
But not nearly as much as you have. And from my point of view, because
I'm really big into the Far Side.
Yeah, and that sounds like a fucking downer.
It is. Well,
oh my God.
Well, I'm going to bring you even further down for a second.
Oh, great.
So
thank you.
We hope, and hope is what keeps us from wanting to die. But hope means that we take a step closer to death, which will destroy us, which means hope is actually what's going to kill us. It's kind of like oxidative damage. And on top of that, we live as though our deaths are not certain, which is a really odd hope given what hope gets us to. Like, so you hear this all the time. If in the event of your death, no, when you die, it is a guaranteed certainty. And yet we live in such a way that our death is not certain. And yet we hope for the next step closer to it. And so if you turn to religion, you are abandoning reason for reason, not raisins. You are abandoning reason for faith, which itself is the ultimate expression of a hope for death. Because when you die, you'll get to paradise. Now, heaven is better, therefore, having faith that there's a heaven means that ultimately you have that death urge. Now, keep in mind, he did live with Algerian Jews, French Catholics, and Huguenots.
Yeah, I'm gonna argue that his characterization of deist outlooks is kind of the same way that Marx's outlook is on the working class.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're doing an awful lot of talking for him, not having ever kind of like been one of them.
Fair. I would just point out that if you look at the ultimate end goal, the ultimate end goal is not to live in the here and now, but life ever after. Life ever after doesn't happen until death. Therefore, it's working the algebra problem backwards.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right.
But he says suicide is not the solution because without human life, the world that we've constructed would have no absurdity, and thus the absurd would cease with us. So we must live without false hope and constantly confront the absurd, recognizing that we will never fully accept it, nor should we, lest we commit suicide, thereby ending both absurdity and ourselves.
Okay. Now in that last bit, when you say committing suicide, are we talking about literal suicide, or are we also talking about figurative suicide of having just said, whatever, fuck it, give up?
Literal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of the goose that lays the golden egg. Like, the wife wants to cut the goose open, get all the
cut
golden
the
eggs.
goose open,
Right?
get all the eggs
Yeah.
out, and
Yeah.
no. Oh, okay.
Thus,
All right.
Camus arrives at 3 consequences from fully acknowledging the absurd. They are revolt, freedom, and passion. Revolt. Don't accept it. Don't accept the absurd. So once you've acknowledged the absurd, don't accept it. Freedom. You embrace it and you recognize that there is no hope worth having. There's no point in having hope. And passion. Given this freedom and this revolt, the fact that you're not accepting it and you're living without hope, it's not about living your best life, but about living your most life. And I don't mean like the amount of minutes you're putting on the scoreboard, but like how much life are you squeezing into the minutes that you've got? Because you ain't going to get that much. It's not too different than Robin Williams' character, Mr. Keating, in Dead Poets Society. Suck the marrow out of life because someday you're going to be worm food.
Okay.
And Camus pointed to various authors, Dostoevsky, Kafka, and he said those guys aren't absurdist because ultimately they had hope. So
I'm going to quibble about Kafka, but okay.
He said that there was a glimmer.
Yeah, okay.
There were glimmers of hope in Kafka's writing. I know.
Okay, I didn't see it, but okay, whatever.
Yeah.
He must have a very sensitive hope meter because the Metamorphosis did not give me any kind of sense of hope.
So
okay.
Yeah. So actually, this is a good place to break it because next time I'll start you with Jean-Paul Sartre.
Oh, great.
And Sartre will then get us to Ionesco, who will then clearly point the way to Gary Larson under Ronald Reagan and again under Donald Trump.
Okay.
So that's
you
where we're going.
You clearly have a roadmap, and we have a lot of driving to do.
Yes. Ooh, cows. So. Car. So I'm going to ask you.
Sick.
I think you just answered my question too. Okay. I am going to ask you not what you're reading, but what your favorite Far Side cartoon was.
Oh God, that's why you got to give me such a hard one at the end of an episode. There are so many. Oh hey, I guess we all aimed for the same guy, huh? Is one of them.
Uh-huh.
But I think being the son of an aviator,
mm-hmm.
especially
I know the one you're talking about,
especially being the son of an airline pilot.
Yep.
My absolute favorite one is where the one panel is broken up into 4,
mm-hmm.
or it might have been more than 4.
Mm-hmm.
But it's you're looking head on at the front end of an airplane,
right?
A jetliner, and the pilot is clearly talking into the little hand mic radio, and he says, "All right, I'm going to need everybody to buckle up. We got some turbulence ahead." And then it was a 4 panel, because in the second panel the airplane is leaning hard to the right. And the next panel, the airplane is leaning hard to the left. You can see the pilot and the co-pilot both leaning on the stick in both directions really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it might have been more than 4 panels. But anyway, so and then there's a panel of the two of them just laughing their asses off in the cockpit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last panel is the captain back on the radio wiping a tear from his eye. That's like my favorite detail. Yeah. Wiping a tear from his eye as he says, "Uh-oh, looks like more turbulence." Now here's the thing, that is almost without doubt my absolute, if you told me I could only keep one in my memory forever, that would probably be it.
Okay.
Although you're sick, Carl, sick is right up there.
Sure.
But I have to tell you why.
Okay.
And I already mentioned, of course, my father was an airline pilot.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a co-pilot on a flight going out of LAX to, I want to say it was Denver, or it might have been St. Louis. Anyway, the weather forecast indicated that there was going to be heavy, like, keep everybody strapped in, or there are going to be injuries like break out the extra barf bags turbulence along the route, right? In a specific place along the flight path they were going to be following. So they got in the airplane, and within the first 30 minutes of the flight, the captain announced, "Hey, we have been advised by the weather service there's going to be really heavy turbulence. So everybody is aware we're not going to be turning off the fasten seatbelt sign. Everybody needs to stay in your seats unless it's an emergency." And they flew for another hour and a half, 2 hours. They get over the mountains where the turbulence is supposed to be, and it is smooth as glass. There is not a bump, nothing.
Nice.
And the flight attendants ding to the cabin. "Hey, we want to see. Can you turn off the sign so we can get up, so they can get up and do their jobs, right? Go, And and the captain says, "Nope, no turbulence. We've been told." Barf bag, upchuck, like hurt people, nobody's getting up. No. So hard no. And my dad, as the co-pilot, is the one who has to deliver the message. He's the one who does that. The captain makes the decision, but the co-pilot does the communicating.
Okay.
So no, captain says, "No, we're not doing that." Hang up the intercom. 20 minutes go by. Nothing. Absolutely perfect. Not a, again, smooth as glass. Ding. Dad picks up the intercom, and of course it's the head flight attendant. Can we get up now? Turns to the captain. The captain says, "No, we don't know when we're going to hit it. Upchuck turbulence.
Right.
Not on my watch. Not going to let it happen. No, hang up." No. Captain says no, hangs up. Okay, so this happens another 2 times. And then like the 4th or 5th time that the flight attendants do that, the captain doesn't say a word, but he just makes eye contact with my father, then reaches down, switches off the autopilot, puts his hands on the stick, and jogs it a little bit hard 5 times to actually cause the airplane to bump.
Buck and weave, yeah.
Buck and weave. Levels out the stick, flicks the autopilot back on, and then turns off the fasten seatbelt sign. Doesn't say a word.
Nice.
So that is why that is my favorite ever.
Okay.
Far Side cartoon, and it's a good thing my dad never listens to this podcast, because he'd be so mad that I'm telling that story.
Well, cool.
But yeah. So that right there is my looks like more turbulence, because that might actually happen more often than you think. Yeah.
I like it.
All right.
Well, plug social media stuff.
All right. Well, if you absolutely positively desperately need to find me, you can find me on the Twitter at ehblaylock, which oddly enough is the same place you can find me on TikTok now.
Oh, wow.
Right now, the only thing I have up on TikTok is a statement in support of my teachers union. Surprise.
Yeah.
But they're probably, because I'm a Gryffindor and thus a low-key narcissist, there's probably going to be more of me on there soon.
Good.
If you are looking for me on Instagram, I'm at Mr. M.R. Blaylock. And then, of course, you can find us collectively on the Twitter machine at Geek History Time.
Yes.
And now if somebody wants to shout specifically at you, where would they go?
Well, if you want to take a picture of your Far Side book and your favorite comic within that book, you can send it either to at Geek History Time on the Twitter or at Harmony, 2 H's in the middle there, either on the Insta or on the Twitter. So that's where you can find all of that. I'd love to see it. Love when people share their favorites. So
Yes.
yeah,
Definitely.
So all right. So for a Geek History of Time, I'm Damian Harmony.
And I'm Ed Blaylock. And until next time, keep rolling 20s.